awesome seeing all of you guys on Zoom. Wish you were all here in person. And I want to say we had a great time last night talking about the Cabo event. And we had a great turnout with lots of our fun agents. And I just want to thank everybody that came last night, everybody that came today. And I'm so excited about the person who's going to talk today. I love her. She also is extremely inspirational and loves people. And she has made such a huge impact to our team and all of the people that view her as a great leader. I'm so excited about what she's going to share. Maylee from Flippin' Sexy. I wish I could be
Isn't she the best? Oh, she's the best. I love that. We love it. Okay. So yes, welcome. I am Maylee from Flippin' Sexy. Maybe you've seen us on our YouTube channel. Yes, very fun. People go, why'd you choose that name? Well, sex sells, let's be honest. Like, I'm not trying to hide it, guys, okay? Like, we're not trying to hide it in any way. People always go, well, the only way this works is if you need like a funny, character. Anyway, I guess I'm the funny character in the, I don't know. I'm like, I don't know how to do it. Real quick, everyone, pull out your cell phone. Everyone, I don't care where you're at, what you're doing, pull it out and see if you can scan that. You should be able to from any angle. So. Scan that. If you don't already have it, and then I want you to subscribe. I will tell you why you need to subscribe, but for sure, make sure you do it now.
I already did.
Oh, well, God, Jeff has the bonus points over here. Yeah, Jonas has the bonus points. Okay, so my husband Mitch and I do Flippin' Sexy. And part of the reason why we chose to do this was because we had so many students across the globe who needed our help. And, oh, thank you. Yes, very good. So let's see, back up a little bit. So my husband started doing real estate investing about 10 years ago. So he is an icon. He has traveled the world. He speaks, engagements, 2,500 plus. He was a phenomenal mentor. I showed up to an event, 3.5 years ago, almost 4 years ago. Dave Deal actually brought me into it. Yep, Dave Deal. And it was so great because I sat in the back of the room. There was like 300 people in the room, and I was super upset because I thought, oh my gosh, Dave brought me to one of those things where it was going to be a sales pitch, right? And I'm in the back room like, oh my gosh. At the end, he told me it was $20,000 to buy a real estate education package, and I wanted to kill myself. I had zero money, right? I was like, are you kidding me, Dave? What are you thinking? I'm in a wheelchair. I can't walk, right? Like, it was crazy. And it was true. So I had just had back surgery, and I had been in a wheelchair for 9 months. And so during that time, I was devastated. I didn't know where I was going, what I was going to be doing, but I knew that I wanted to do something different than what I was doing because I couldn't continue to keep providing for my family the way I was in a wheelchair. And so I came to Dave because he was already retired at like 28 or 24. And I was like, how are you retired at 24 years old? I'm drowning in debt. Like, tell me what you're doing. What's the strategy? And so he did. He showed me to went to the seminar. And I was super offended at first, but then in 2 hours, I learned more than I had ever learned in my entire life about business. And I had been a business owner for 14 years. So I was blown away. I paid the $20,000. I did. I borrowed from Peter to pay Paul, and I sure did do that. But I did. I made it back in like 3 weeks. And part of it was because I learned a few strategies that I'm going to share with you today. Okay, so we're going to dive real fast in here. I'm excited to announce also why you want to, subscribe and ring the bell is because we drop these every 3 weeks. So we take you from start to one of our projects to the very end of the project, and we walk you through the entire process. So for a long time, we were just educators. And so we'd get on stage and we would present and we'd show people how to do what we do. And then they would pay us 20 grand. It was awesome. I'm not gonna lie, it was friggin' amazing. We ended up with 1,500 students across the nation. It's a lot of people to be responsible for. All paid us 20 grand. That means they need a lot of my time. It's a lot. It was a lot. And I still do, a lot of coaching, but not so much. So we kind of took that down a little bit. And now we just do the, the training. So which one? Here we go, some of our YouTube channel, Flippin' Sexy. Yes, is me. Yes, no.
Wait, you don't just do this, you sell a lot of real estate too.
Oh, no,
Yes,
I
you
do.
do.
Yes, I do. Yes, and I'll get into that. So part of it is we, we had this huge group. Dave and I, we created a great bird dog organization where we would teach. We had about 250 people a week that would show up, and we teach them how to do wholesaling and how to find properties and how to find really good deals. What started happening though, it was terrifying actually. What started happening was like 150 leads started coming in a week of all these people who wanted to sell their house, which sounds like a really great problem to have, except for we didn't have the infrastructure to take care of it, so it was a nightmare. But what really quickly started happening was we would show up to the house and be like, yeah, here's my house. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Here's what we can offer: cash, seller finance, whatever it might be. But then they'd go, oh, well, I'm just going to turn around and list it. Right? They would get frustrated because I would say 5% of all the properties that are out there that we do talk to and the leads that you're going to be speaking with the strategies that we're going to show you today, 5% of them are going to say yes, right? They can accept a cash offer, they can accept a seller finance deal or some type of subject to property, but the other 95% of them are going to say, I should just list it, especially in this market. It's nuts right now. They should just list it, right? A lot of times, depending on their situation. So I was losing a lot of money because I wasn't a real estate agent. A lot of money. And can you imagine 150 leads and all of them went to someone else but me? I was so mad. I was giving them away, right? Made Jana a lot of money, so I love you, Jana. So that was great. So then Dave was like, I'm gonna get his license. I'm like, oh, dang it, I should probably do that too. I chose not to get my license, shame on me, because I chose to buy a brokerage instead. So that's what I did. I just bought a brokerage. They're like, wait, you're not an agent. Oh, I know. I just bought a brokerage. Okay. Well, the reason why I did that is so I could funnel all the leads through the brokerage, right? So found a broker that was super cool. He teamed up with me and we just paired up and we ran the brokerage. The brokerage was super successful. I mean, it took off like flying colors. So Manchester Real Estate was the brokerage. And 6 months into it, another nightmare, just absolutely such a bad idea, because all of you agents out there that do a lot of great work and are hustling, your ultimate kind of aspiring goal is to become a broker. Yes? Yes? I mean, that is kind of like the peak point, right? It's like, okay, I got to do enough real estate, I got to do enough deals to become a broker so I can make money off of all of you, right? So I don't work anymore, essentially, right? That's kind of the goal. Well, I was a broker without being a broker, and yeah, it was not a good idea. I highly recommend not doing that if you are a people person and you like to be in the field and you don't want to be stuck behind a computer all day. Because all I did was a glorified paper pusher, right? Like that's all I was. Read contracts all day long and I wanted to kill myself. No, I'm kidding. It wasn't like that. But it was really stressful and it wasn't what made me happy. I didn't become an agent or become an investor so that I was behind a computer and working more than I had ever worked before. That's not what I was doing it for. I did it so that I had time freedom, so that I had money freedom, so that I could play with my kids and be an amazing mother, right? And wife and, just friend, honestly. So because of that, I stopped. And I was looking for options of maybe hiring another assistant, hiring different things. And then I found Jeff and Lynn Marchant. Give a round of applause for them first off. They're so great. Okay, so they showed me a program essentially I could be a part of this brokerage that they're a part of, which is EXP, and still have my brokerage. So I just took my brokerage and just dumped it inside of EXP. So now EXP is the master brokerage and I don't have to do anything. Yeah! But the best thing is I get paid like a broker. So, I get all the work. Like I said, I do win everything. It's so great. It's fantastic. So because of that, I did get my real estate license. That was the only caveat. I couldn't join EXP without being an agent. Wait, why? Can't I just? No, I couldn't. So I had to get my license, and honestly, it was the best thing that I ever did. So I haven't been an agent more than a year. I've been an agent for 9 months, almost 9 months. So new. I'm really new. I'm a new agent. I'm definitely not new to investing, but definitely new to the agent arm. It is different. We don't necessarily always speak the same language, which is why I need a good TC.
Like on the top 10 EXP agents for last month.
Thank you, top 10 agent. Yeah. Part of it it is just because of how many deals we do, right? So we create our own inventory. So a lot of times, people are, actually a lot of agents right now across the nation are stressed, right? And a lot of people are here today. Earlier we were talking about they're stressed because there's not enough properties. There's nothing, right? I mean, I was on MLS yesterday morning, and I want to say in Davis County, there was like 62 homes that were active.
That's great.
And there was like 13,000 buyers. Oh, that's why we need you, right? Like, oh no, like, what am I gonna do? It is a frenzy out there. And so people are like, how are you still picking up properties, right? How are you picking up properties? I'll tell you how I'm picking up properties here in just a second, right? I'm gonna show you all my secret sauces. The other thing that I wanna say is create your own inventory is crucial for your clients, right? If you didn't wanna do a flip, great, you don't need to do, fix and flip, you don't need to. You don't have to do, but there's so many opportunities to get your clients into a real estate deal right now and or a rental property. This absolutely right now is a fantastic time. Actually, everyone, take a breath and realize you have to have a rental property. We're gonna get into that too. You gotta do it. Okay. So yeah, since I've been doing this, so my husband has done a lot more than me, but this is just in my last 3.5 years that I've been a cute real estate investor. So I have flipped over 40 homes, pretty cool, not too bad. We like to do between 10 and 14 homes at a time. So currently we have 13 homes that we're flipping. So
Wow.
it's a lot. It is a lot of volume. But I will say that if you're ever going to do real estate, you're ever going to start doing some type of flipping or renovating or what have you, it's super important to do it at scale. And that's what this whole thing is about, is learning to do something at scale. Because if you chose to do one, guess what happens? You're at the job, right? It's a job and you'll hate it. Just don't do that. And if you're doing all the work yourself, you'll hate it too, because that's what happens, right? Hiring other people to swing hammers. I think I've swung a hammer once and I broke a nail and I was super mad. So no, I actually really do enjoy hard work, and I'll tile, I'll do all that fun stuff, just not on my property. I'll do it in my house. Okay. About the brokerage, we talked about that. I became licensed last year, so I'm coming up on my anniversary. I'm super excited for that because I did hit my cap. We'll talk a little bit maybe about that later. So I hit my cap already. I got all of my cap money back in stock. Super jazzed about that. UXP stock, get that. And then I should hit my icon. I should do it. Oh my gosh, I know. I'm super pumped about that. Okay. So I obtained in the last 3.5 years. So this is me. This is not my husband. My husband, we've joined our portfolios now together. But in the last, 3.5 years, I've picked up 19 doors. Not too bad.
That's awesome.
All seller finance?
All either seller financed or subject to. We're going to dive into that and talk about the difference between them, what that looks like, and how I didn't use any of my own money. That's even better. Yeah, right? How do we do that? Because why not, right? Part of it is scale. So if somebody says to me, I want to pick up 2 rental properties, or maybe you have a client right now, you should encourage your buyers to be picking up rentals. Right now is the time to buy, right? There's no better time to buy than right this second. And then tomorrow, right that second. And then the next day, right? There's no better time to buy. Just right now, just do it. And part of that as an agent, if you can get your past customers, your past buyers to want to buy more often, you're gonna make a lot more money, right? You double dip that way. Because usually if you're an agent, you make money once, maybe twice, maybe 3 times off of one person. Unless they're referring to you, referrals and things like that. But if you can get them to buy a rental property every 2 years, every year with this strategy, maybe like 10 a year, hey, why not? Like that totally takes it to the next level. And now each person is worth a lot more to you, right? You could take so much more time with your clients. And that I encourage you to do so. All right, so we're gonna jump into that. I did just last week, I had the best week of my entire career so far. We closed on 4 properties in 1 week, which was really cool. One of them was a 20,000 square foot commercial building that I'm super jazzed about. So I'll have to go out there and do a field trip one day because that'll be good. Because it's 1909 or 1906 is the building. It was the oldest school in Ogden.
Wow.
Yeah, it's right across the street from the temple. It's so cool. Oh,
It's purple.
right? It's purple. Yeah, we were there last week.
Awesome.
It's fluorescent purple, everything. It's crazy, but it'll be super fun. So we're turning it into a 15-unit luxury apartment complex. So that'll be really fun. This is the only one, that's why I didn't include it in the 19 properties that I do have, because this is the only one that isn't seller financed or, so yeah, they were subject to. So this one will be, it's a complete renovation that we have to do because it was a school. So we're turning it into a 15-unit luxury apartment complex. It'll be super dope. All right, so we're going to talk a little bit about fix and flips. The reason why I talked about that first, even though I know that we were going to talk about rentals first, I bring this up first because this is how I didn't use any of my own money in my real estate investing game. So part of, my numbers got all skewed. You can't even see them. I'll tell them to you. So what happens is in real estate, if you choose to do fix and flips, that's a first dollar activity. Does everybody know what that means? Anybody have an idea what that means? It's kind of like having a job, right? You're trading your time for money, and if your boss or a client or being an agent, right, you're making a commission. That's a first dollar activity. So if you sell a house or you help buy a house, whichever, and you get a commission, are you ever going to make any more money than that off of that one house? Nope, it's a $1 activity. That's what I mean by that. Okay. So if you choose to say, okay, well, what if I can, instead of, making only first dollar activities, I can turn that $1 and make me lots of money, right? That's the idea of rentals, right? So how do I convert a dollar into making me money investing? So we raise money. So I'm going to kind of break this down. So we don't, so the total purchase price, you can't see it, it says 405 here. So $405,000 to purchase this property. It was in the Avenues on J Street. It was awesome. It was such a great property. I loved this home. The fun part about this one, so we raise money. We don't put any of our own money ever in any of our properties. Part of it is because we want to encourage people to come and do it with us, right? So more often than not, all students would come to us and be like, oh, I'm terrified to do a big project like this on my own, right? Terrified. Or, people just in general, or they want to get into it because they can see, right, there's a lot of money potential, especially if I'm doing 14 of those at a time, right? There's a big money potential, but the problem is it's very risky. There's a lot to going on. It takes time, it takes talent, it takes a system to make this happen. So rather than just going out and trying it by yourself, we let them team up with us. On the first project, on their 10th project, it doesn't matter. They can stick with us and keep throwing their money in. It doesn't really matter. It's just a matter of making sure that they're happy and that they get what they want. Some people like Jana, we talked about earlier. So she was one of our students and she was great. And we did a deal together, and then we did another deal together, and then we did another deal together. And then all of a sudden she's like, you know what? I'm just going to go do it on myself. And now she is. She's doing it on her own. I love that. And that inspires me, right? That's why you do what we do. So rehab cost was $80,000. So total raise, we had to raise $485,000. Does that make sense to everybody? So that's the money that we had to raise. So we use a debt equity blend. So that basically means is we're not raising all debt, right? We have to also raise private money. So that's where, right, we partner up. So people go, oh, are you getting a percentage? Okay, so we're partners, right? If you're coming and doing this property with us, we're actually partners. You're not just an investor, right? You're investing in the property. So if we lose money, you lose money. If we make money, you make money, and whatever that percentage you put in. So kind of how that works. And then we do have hard money always on these properties, because why not? So holding costs, that's what that is, right? So holding costs was $17,300 on this property. So that was the debt per portion of this. Okay, so that's how we don't use any of our money. Closing costs was $6,300 essentially. Agent commission 6%, $38,000. Basically, profit total was $91,000. All right, that's pretty good. Not bad. Now, is all that $91,000 mine? No, why?
Partners.
Partners, that's right. So we were partnered up. That's you, right? That's where you come in, okay? So whatever your percentage in that you put in the money is what you get out. So, right, that's how it gets divvied up. But what I want to talk about is what I didn't realize for so long, how much money I was missing out on by not being an agent, right? Like, oh my God, what was I thinking? Part of it is I think investors have a funny mentality of agents don't know what they're doing.
I knew a guy that used to say
Yeah, right? That's funny. But truthfully, I'm going to stick to my guns in this part. Most agents don't know what they're doing. That they don't. I will run circles around them all day long. and that's just because I get how all of the contracts work, not just the one rep seat. Right, and that's it. It's just simply looking outside the box, if you can help your client get into a property, even if they don't have $60,000 cash right now, that would be really helpful, right? Or if you can help your client get into a rental property with only maybe $15,000 out of pocket, that would be really helpful, right? There's a lot of properties out there that people are in dire need. They are distressed. They have to sell or they have to get out of their situation. Let's create a win-win. Let's just do that. It helps so many more people. And then we all make a lot of money, and that's great too. Okay, so this is why I was so mad when I started doing the math though, because I bought this, we put this property under contract. This was actually my second deal that I did as an agent. So I found this property, I put it under contract, so I made the commission on it. 12,000 essentially, right? Then I sold it as a realtor for the 638,000. So my commission was 19,000 and change. And then I was the investor on this property, right? So 40% of the 91,000 was mine, or my husband's, right? So I got $36,000 of this. So my total profit on this one deal was $67,000. Right? Like, that's so awesome. So fun. And part of it is because I can do this on every single deal. Every single deal. Does it always work like this? No. Sometimes I buy from a wholesaler, so I'm not the agent. But even if I buy from the wholesaler, I usually just tack on my, nice little commission on top of it. Oh, thanks for the wholesale. Here's my commission also, right? It's about negotiating, it's figuring it out. And I encourage you to become a wholesaler. I know that our broker, meeting yesterday was telling us some interesting stuff about the broker, the wholesaling side. I encourage you to figure out how to do wholesaling. I'm going to show you a really cool way to figure that out very quickly. In about 5 hours, you'll be able to do it. Okay. So, I know something. I guess not that quick, right? 5 hours later. Not today, obviously. Obviously, not today. Okay, we'll keep going. I know we're running down. So when we switch to the PowerPoint, I messed up my slides.
Oh, no.
Yeah, that's okay. We're here. Okay.
Close enough.
What was that? Good to
Close
know.
enough.
Yeah, close enough. Okay, so this one is dear to me, and part of it is because why I do what I do. So a little bit of backstory about me. Most people don't know, but I grew up in a cult. So I didn't go to school until I was 12 years old. And so I didn't learn my ABCs. I didn't know how to write. I didn't know how to read. I didn't know math. I didn't know anything until I was 12 years old. It was the first time I went to school at 6th grade. And I was weird. I'm still weird, but like I was really weird. Like homeless, I was super backwards. I just didn't know. And which, I think part of it comes from my enthusiasm and my energy and my excitement in life is because finally, after I got out of that situation, I wasn't told anymore I couldn't do things, right? For so long, everyone told me, you can't do this, you can't do this, you can't do this, you can't do this, right? It's like, only thing I can do is cook and clean and have babies. You suck, right? That sucks. That's a terrible idea. Don't make people do that. It's not good. So when I got out of that, and so much credit to my mother. My mother is actually one in the middle right there. Wonderful lady. She got out of this religion, so she's super inspiring to me. But because of it, she was so brainwashed and so devastated by the events that took place throughout my childhood that she just had a hard time holding on to a job. And she really hasn't been able to hold a job since. So by the time I was 16, I had a full-time job to keep us in a home, right? So now that I'm an adult, my goal was to make sure that she didn't have to work, make sure that she didn't have to strain herself and move. I moved like 28 times in like 20 years. It was crazy. I didn't want that for her anymore. I wanted to give her a life that she can, survive and thrive and not feel like she is this, this person that can't accomplish things any longer. So part of my thing last year, I bought this property for $56,000. Closing cost was $2,800, and I had to put about $6,000 into it for rehab to kind of get it up to code for this amazing rental property. So I put her in this home. It's a 4-bedroom, 3-bath. It's in Roy, Utah, and I found it on a subject too. So a family member was super sick, and the husband couldn't pay the mortgage payment anymore, and they were going to lose their house. And so I had a long conversation with them and I said, I have a sick mother. She is mentally ill, right? She can't do a lot of things. I would love to be able to put her in this home, right? And you can have this conversation without obviously explaining, something like that too. I have multiple subject to properties, but this one just happened to be close to home. And so I negotiated it out. And so they were behind $56,000 on their mortgage payment. It's a lot to be behind. That's a lot. And actually, if you look at the records right now, that is minimal. Utah is about to crack because of how many people are in deferment right now. They can't pay all of this, what they owe right now. It's crazy. So $56,000 is what $64,000 is what we came up with. And so we purchased this property. The property was worth $280 at the time. Now, that was my favorite part. It's worth $480. Yeah, that's pretty great, right? That's pretty awesome. But I bought this entire egg, so I've just had the mortgage payment every single month. So the mortgage payment with insurance is $1,500. Property management, don't ever manage your own properties. I know you guys own a property management company, so that's different. I give you, yeah, go to that. Property management, $150 a month. Car payment. So my mom she can't touch money. She has a really hard time, handling. She just gets flustered and she ruins it, everything when it comes to money. She's great at everything else, but she can't pay for things. So if her car payment comes out, right, everything is paid for by this property. So the rent comes in, and this is how we structured it. So these two girls that she's standing next to are also disabled girls. They're 18, both of them are 18. They live in this home, and they each have their own room, but the state pays me $3,300 a month per kid. So when I did this slide, it was based on one, but there's two that live there. That's freaking awesome. So they're roommates. They live there. My mom makes sure, they can come home. They're safe. They live in a safe environment. And that's her responsibility, is to be mom. But she's to be a good friend. So yep. So pretty fun. I love this story only for this fact that, you can do, and people always go, oh, when you make money, you're evil, or when you do this, or when you do this, right? Right? You hear this all the time. Or you're terrified. You don't give yourself permission to want to make money. If you don't give yourself permission to step out of your comfort zone, right? I want you to give yourself permission to say it's okay, because the things like this you can do for your family, for your friends, for people who are in need, right? So many people have reached out to me and been like, I need a place to stay. I only got 2 free rentals right now. Go, right? You got 2 weeks until it's clean, so come on. But, right, there's just opportunities. I know you guys have probably done the same, right? You're able to give, and that's why I don't manage my own properties, though, because I'm way too nice. Oh, just stay! Nope, I would never make money. So that is so super happy. So before all of this, it says cash flow is $950 a month. So that was before, obviously, the second girl moved in, but freaking awesome, right? Part of why I have this too. So something to keep in mind when you're doing fix and flip. So I don't want you, and this is a conversation that Brock and I actually had last couple weeks ago. So you're like, oh, well, I don't want to go out of my way to be looking for properties and then looking for clients, right? I don't want to go out of my way, because that seems like 2 different activities, right? If you're going out of your way to finding wholesale deals or finding real estate, properties, if you're finding rentals, right, that sounds like a lot of different activities. Make them one. Make them one activity. If you're on the MLS or if you're having phone calls for distressed homeowners, and we'll go through how to find those distressed homeowners, but make that one activity. If I'm on the phone and I'm on the phone with a distressed homeowner of any kind, right? Hey, have you thought about selling your home, right? I have a cash buyer right now that's willing to pay X amount of money for your home. Really, let's have a conversation. Great, let's show up to your house. Let's talk about it. Let's see what's going on. Then I'm gonna go through multiple offers, not just one, right? I'm gonna show them a cash offer. If they're like not super excited about it, I'm gonna show them a seller finance offer. Maybe they're super excited about that because they get to pick up cash flow, right? That's awesome. Subject to, maybe they just need to get out and not ruin their credit. So we can, if you don't know what that is, we can definitely talk a little bit more about that. But always have exit strategies. And so make it one activity, because if it's one activity, so worst case scenario, I'll list your home. Oh no, shucks, guys. Oh no, worst case scenario, we built up a relationship. I understand your situation. I understand your needs. I know exactly what you're going through. We're friends. Let's just go ahead and list your home. That sounds like the best idea right now, right, for you. And now I have a property that everyone else wants, that is on the market right now. I have a property that's for sale, whether it's I own it because I bought it in cash, or I own it because I bought it in seller finance, or I'm listing it. Either way, I win. I told you I always win, but that's why. I always win. That's how, right? So don't think of it, don't overcomplicate the idea of investing. Simplify it and realize it's just one activity. It's just one. That's it. Don't make it so complicated it overwhelms you, okay? All right, so next one. Because it can, I know that. All right, so this is how you can find me, and then we're going to dive into some of these strategies, because I know some of you are going, and what time is it?
No, you're good on time.
We're good? How much?
It does 20 minutes.
Okay,
A little bit.
about 20 minutes left?
It's 12:40.
Okay, cool. All right, so this is how you can find me. I do a Call Her Bossy podcast every week. It's super fun. And then we do a women's networking Call Her Bossy lunch every month. It's the last Thursday of every single month. You can find Call Her Bossy on Instagram, Facebook, wherever at Call Her Bossy. And it's Janet, my best friend, and I. And she's also real estate with EXP. She's legit. She's so great. Part of it is we teamed up because she also has an extraordinarily crazy background. So if you don't know her story, you should hear it. Kind of how she became the woman that she is today. And then you get to hear my entire story because you heard like a glimpse of it, right? I'm sure a little bit of you are going, what the heck happened to this person? And how did she get raised? And what? So many questions. So the first episode, I do go through kind of who I am and how I became the person I am today. And why I encourage people, especially women, if you are excited about, teaching and training and just helping women grow, I encourage you to jump on there and then maybe jump on the podcast, reach out to me and let me know of someone that you know of that, would be an inspiration to us. And it's not just for women, it's just women podcasts. So men can listen to it, men do. I have a lot of men subscribers, but part of it is just their inspirational stories. Because what I found was I would look at really inspirational women and I'd be like, oh, well, they just had a silver spoon, and I would create stories of why they were successful. Truth is, they're successful because they're freaking hard work. That's why they're successful. And that's what is inspiring, is to hear how they got it and maybe what they had to go through to get there. So it's a really fun opportunity. So listen to that. And so we have a new guest every week. And then our YouTube channel. So Flippin' Sexy Real Estate, Flippin' Sexy Real Estate Education. Now this is what it really comes, this is why I wanted to take a second on this slide. So when my husband and I was selling the education, $20,000 pop, right? Tons of successful students. So many success stories, such a great opportunity when we could do that. But we ran out of bandwidth. We couldn't do that any longer, right? That's a lot of people to take up on. So we took an entire year to film everything that we do and train and teach on, right? And that's why I said 5 hours to learn how to wholesale, because I'm going to give it to you on our free education channel. So we started the education channel thinking we were going to do like sponsors and subscribers and all this great stuff. And it was fine. And we started getting subscribers and a lot of great movement. But then all of a sudden, Mitch and I just said, why? We're in an amazing position. Why don't we just give back, right? So many people have given us so many opportunities and so much success that it's time for us to give back. So a month ago, we released free education. So all of our education, we used to charge thousands of dollars for, is uploaded on our real estate education platform. So also go subscribe to the education channel. So not just the Flippin' Sexy, real estate, but also the education channel, because there is over 100 hours of education on there. Go get it. Awesome. Yep. So there is a plethora. So if you go to actually we could hear in a second, we can pull it up if you wanted to, but basically it breaks it down into different segments. So there's wholesaling, there's subject to, there's seller financing. It breaks down each section so you can understand what it is and how to set up the contract. Because an agent, sometimes it's really complicated to be like, which contract am I using? Like it gets like really overwhelming to understand. But what a great tool to be able to help, actually I'm telling you stories because it was my first real estate transaction, the first one that I did as an agent. So because of my background, right, in investing, I was like, oh, I can figure this out. So one a good friend of mine, Jill, was selling her house, but she wanted to sell it for $420,000. I don't know where she got this. Sometimes you have clients and you're like, why do you think your home is worth this? I'm really confused, right? She's her friend, so I had a hard time telling her this, but I'm like, Yeah, it's more like 320. Oh no. Yeah, right? Like, no way. Sorry, love. And this was, a year ago almost. And I'm like, well, why do you need 420? Like that was her, she was dead set on it. And I'm like, well, like, I don't know who's gonna give you 420 for this house. She's like, well, that is what I want because then I can do this. And she had all these reasons so she could pay this off and she could do this and this, right? And I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't care. The client who's gonna buy this house also doesn't care about all the things you want to pay off, they're the life you want. That's sorry, that doesn't work. But then she kept going. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get creative here. Why not? So I have a buyer's list of people who need seller financed homes, right? So there's a lot of people who don't qualify with traditional mortgages, right? So if we team up and if one of your people calls you or any of your people call Mark and Mark goes, oh my gosh, you don't qualify. You just don't. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sorry, bro. Like, you don't qualify. Yeah, and that's it. You can work on them and get them qualified, and that's the goal, right? So how great if you could say, okay, hold on, let me call Maylee, or let me call one of you guys, because that's a buyer's list, right? And I know, so I have a couple lenders, right? They call me and they're like, all right, this person doesn't qualify yet. Do you have something? And I go, yes, I do. Yes, I do. Well, they're gonna have to pay $420,000 for it, and it's not worth that. Do they care? They don't. They don't care because they're getting out of a different situation that they didn't want to be in. They can eventually buy the property and afford it, right? Refinance it out. It's so much easier to refinance out something that you already have in possession, whether it's a hard money loan or it's under like a seller finance deal. It's so much easier to refinance that out. Yes? Yes. It is so much easier for the client. So that helps them. And so I did. So I was the buyer's agent and the seller's agent on that one, just because I had found both of them, right? And so it was my first deal. A little complicated. I was like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing, right? But hey, it worked. That's why you have mentors, because I called Gianna. I don't know what I'm doing, right? Or Eric, Jeff, they're great mentors. So then from there, I set it up, and you know what? He just refinanced out, and it's worth $462.
No way, that's awesome.
Wow.
Look at that! I was like, oh, well, this market, pay more, buy it later, so it doesn't matter. Just buy, right? Doesn't matter, just buy it all. Okay, so you can also find on our social media handles, obviously you can take a look at that. Do I have another slide? Oh, I do. Hey, look how cute. Okay, so you need multiple streams of income. So you need passive income. What's passive income? What's passive income? What's passive? Huh?
Passively, you did work once, and then all of a sudden it comes in multiple times passively.
Okay, give me examples of what that could look like.
Rental property.
Rental property. Huh? Yeah. I was just gonna say that. I love it. Okay, perfect. Okay.
Rent share.
Rev share. That's what's up. Okay, so passive income simply means exactly you do one activity once, but you get paid multiple times for it. Okay. So that's my favorite type, because whether I'm sleeping, whether I'm dead, right, or on vacation, doesn't matter, a well-managed rental is going to pay me and my children and their children, as long as they don't screw it up. Right? Generational wealth is absolutely key. And a good friend of mine, actually, I'm about to list his house here in 2 weeks, so private listing, here it comes. He's so great. He just got 4 generations of wealth given to him. His mom just passed.
Wow.
And he just acquired like $6 million. Wow. How cool, right?
Awesome.
And now he goes, so he's smart because he goes, oh no, what do I do with it, right? Like, oh good, get over here. Let me train you. You know what I mean? Like, don't screw it up because he could be the kid that screws it up. Nobody taught him. And that's what happens if you don't teach, if you don't keep that train going, they just go, thanks for the gift, mom, poof, gone. Please don't screw it up, right? That's awesome. It's an amazing gift. And it is all in real estate. So, right, what do you do with it, right? So training. So massive income. So that could be selling, multifamily. That could be selling, fix and flips. That could be doing big agent commission, properties. That is your massive income. But take that massive income and turn it into passive income. So when I said I don't use any of my own money for my rental properties, that is true. And that's because all of the money that I remake on our fix and flips, for the most part, we dump into rentals. But the money that we made on the fix and flips wasn't ours in the first place. So it's not my money. So for every fourth fix and flip we do, we buy a rental. That's kind of how we, right? Now, do we buy the rental? Yes, but is it a traditional loan? No, they're all seller financed, they're subject to every single rental that I have. So I have 19 right now. That's pretty cool. I don't own any of them with a mortgage, right? And why that's super helpful, and I know that Jeff and Lynn talk about this all the time, why that's super helpful is because Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, right, they limit you to 10 properties, right? 10. Well, can you retire on 10 properties? If the most you're getting per door is like hopefully $400 a door, that's a pretty good rental if you are. That doesn't fit my retirement, plans. yeah, let's scrape them by, no. So you need to be able to come up with a strategy where you can do as many as you want. There's no limit. You can do as many rental properties, you can have and acquire as many rental properties as you want, just simply by learning how to have that conversation, okay? So, and then double dip income, or portfolio income. So actually I want to talk, and maybe your lending, institute does this, but portfolio lending or income is super cool because if you have the 19 properties, we're in the middle of doing this right now. We have our 19 properties, we're about to get a HELOC that's all in one, right? So it's like $65 million. It's $2 billion. But right, how cool? Because then it's capital to just kind of buy up whatever. I'm really excited. I'm dying to know what the amount is actually. I don't know what it is yet. Okay, so that's, and then double dip income. So that's where the EXP thing really got me super excited. I know this isn't, this is my testimonial. I'll leave it at that. But basically, when I found EXP, which is the brokerage that we're a part of, it really, caught my eye. And I dig into businesses, as you can see, right? I'm a very detailed person when it comes to figuring out how to make more money on a one-time activity. So if I'm going to be doing something, I want to figure out how to make more money on one activity than any other way possible, right? That way I can use my time wisely. Because, right, if I'm happy to do all these other things all at once, it's just, you don't have time for it. So EXP gave me the ability to share what I love and do and get paid like a broker without having to be a broker and take on all the liability and responsibilities. So I get paid off of every time you make a deal, after you do a deal, or all you do a deal, right? I make money. That's so cool. And you talk to me on Tuesdays. So that's pretty great. And that's the other thing is to control your time. So I'll also leave it at that. But as you grow, you need to, is there a way to go like to the very back? Oh, that was a cute slide. How come it's not showing? Oh, there it is.
There it is.
Hey, that's a quarter. That was a while ago too. But there you go. There's some of them. Some good ones actually. But yeah, so isn't it funny how you look back though? Dang it, why did I sell those?
You're right, everyone.
Oh, every one of them now they're worth like twice as much. I'm like, no. But yeah, that's what happens. So buy, and then figure out a way to double dip, triple dip, and reach out to me. I want to get to know you. I want to help you grow in any aspect of your life. There are so many ways to make lots of money doing one activity. Okay, is that good enough?
Yeah.
Any questions, I guess? Which is the end. Yay!